Hello, my friend. My name is Dr. David Miller. I'm 60 years old and I've spent more than 30 years working in the field of rehabilitation and cardiovascular health, mostly with people in their 50s, 60s, even 80s. And I often tell my patients, I don't heal the body, I simply remind it how to heal itself. Today, I want to talk to you about something I believe is one of the most silent threats of aging: stroke. A stroke doesn't knock on your door. It doesn't send a warning, it just happens, and in a few seconds it can take away everything. Your ability to speak, to walk, sometimes even your memories and personality. I know, it's not an easy topic to hear. But if you're in your 50s or beyond, I want to ask you to pause for a moment, take a breath, and really listen. Because what I'm about to share might help you reduce your risk of stroke by up to 80%, simply by changing one thing: movement. I want you to imagine this. Tomorrow morning, you wake up. The sunlight filters softly through your window blinds. You get up, make your coffee, maybe take your dog for a walk. Everything feels perfectly normal, but deep inside your body, your blood vessels are slowly losing their elasticity. Your heart is working a bit harder. Your blood flow is just a little slower. No pain, no warning, no sound. And then one day, a tiny piece of a blood clot breaks loose and everything changes. I've seen this more times than I care to count. Faces still young, people who were healthy, active, suddenly lying in a hospital bed, unable to move or speak. They never realized that the body's silence can also be a warning sign. One of my first patients, a lovely woman named Linda, 72 years old, once said something I'll never forget. After recovering from a mild stroke, she looked at me, smiled, and said, "Doctor, I used to think exercise was for young people. Now I understand. It's the thread that keeps me tied to life." And she was absolutely right. You don't need to run marathons or lift heavy weights. What matters most is consistency, simple, steady movement every single day. That's what keeps your heart strong, your blood vessels flexible, and your brain nourished. Harvard researchers once said, "Exercise is medicine for the blood vessels." You don't need a gym membership or expensive equipment. All you need is a comfortable pair of shoes, a small patch of ground, or a quiet street where you can take your daily walk. When I turned 50, I started to truly understand what I'd been telling my patients for years. My legs weren't as quick as before. Sometimes I'd run out of breath just climbing a few stairs. That's when I realized maybe it was time for me to listen to my own advice. So I began again, simple things: brisk walking, a bit of Tai Chi, deep breathing each morning. It didn't take much time, but each step reminded me, I'm still here. I still own this body. After a few weeks, something amazing happened. My blood pressure improved, my sleep deepened, my mind felt clearer than it had in years. I want to share that with you because I know perhaps you've wondered too. Is it too late to start now? And my answer is no. It's never too late. The human body is remarkable. It never stops learning, never stops healing, as long as you give it a chance. That's why, in this video, I'm going to show you simple exercises that can protect you from stroke after 50. The same ones I've taught my patients for years, and the ones I practice myself every single day. No fancy techniques, no special gear, just 15 minutes a day to change your tomorrow. We'll talk about how walking the right way can cut your stroke risk by up to 40%, how deep breathing helps improve circulation, and a few gentle movements that keep your heart, brain, and legs working in harmony. But more than anything, I want this to be a moment of inspiration, not to become someone new, but to reclaim the best version of yourself. Because I truly believe, turning 50 isn't the beginning of decline, it's the beginning of wisdom. It's when we finally learn to live slower, deeper, and more meaningfully. We can't go back to 30, but we can live at 60 with the vitality of someone who loves life deeply. So if you're watching this right now, take it as a small sign from life itself, that it's time to stand up, take a deep breath, and begin again. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be fast. You just have to start. I'm here to walk beside you, one step at a time. Because I believe every step you take today is a promise of a healthier tomorrow, for you and for those you love. So now, take a deep breath, smile, and let's begin this journey together. Are you ready? I believe you are. Let's start with something simple, yet truly powerful: walking. You might think, well, Everyone walks. But did you know that brisk walking for just 30 minutes a day can reduce your risk of stroke by up to 40%? That's not just a number, that's proven science, based on research involving tens of thousands of older adults. I remember a patient named Frank, 62 years old. He'd spent his whole career sitting behind a desk, rarely exercising. When he came to see me, his blood pressure was high, his cholesterol was up, and he was constantly tired. I didn't ask him to change everything overnight. I just said, "Frank, walk 10 minutes a day and don't stop." 3 months later, he came back with a big smile. His blood pressure had dropped, his heartbeat was steadier, but more than that, his eyes were alive again. He said, "I can't believe something as simple as walking could make me feel alive again." You see, walking isn't just good for your heart or your vessels. It's a form of moving meditation. When you walk, you hear your own footsteps, you feel your breath, and for those few minutes, you're fully alive in your own body. Start slow. 10 minutes a day, then 20, then 30. Don't rush. Be consistent. Because health doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. For those with knee or balance issues, there's another wonderful option: marching in place. You can do it in your living room while watching TV or listening to your favorite song. Just lift your knees gently, one at a time, for 2 or 3 minutes. That small movement helps blood flow from your legs to your brain, strengthens your hips and lower core, the areas that often weaken with age. I had a patient named Mary, 70 years old, who struggled with knee pain for years. Every time I mentioned exercise, she'd laugh and say, "Doctor, I can barely stand up. How am I supposed to exercise?" So I asked her to just march in place for 2 minutes each morning while making her tea. 3 weeks later, she called me, her voice full of excitement. "Doctor, I just walked around my neighborhood without stopping once." That's what I want you to understand. You don't need to do everything, and you just need to do something and do it every day. And let's not forget something equally vital: your breath. It sounds simple, right? We all breathe, but most of us, especially as we age, breathe too shallowly. We take short, quick breaths, and without realizing it, we deprive our bodies of oxygen, forcing the heart to work harder and the vessels to tighten. I often teach my patients something called diaphragmatic breathing. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling your belly rise. Then exhale gently through your lips, as if blowing out a candle. Do this for 5 minutes a day, and you'll feel the difference. One of my patients, a man with chronic high blood pressure, once told me he thought I was joking when I said, "Just breathe." But after 2 weeks, his blood pressure began to drop, his sleep improved, and he told me, "Doctor, I think I forgot how to breathe all these years." And maybe many of us have too. Because when life becomes stressful and fast, our breath becomes shallow. And that's the body's way of whispering, "I'm overwhelmed." Slow your breath and your blood will flow better, your mind will calm. Finally, I want to share one of my favorite gentle movement therapies, Tai Chi. You've probably seen older adults practicing it in the park, slow, graceful movements flowing like water. Don't let the calm fool you. Tai Chi is powerful. It improves balance, lowers stress hormones, reduces blood pressure, and increases blood flow to the brain. I started practicing Tai Chi at 55. At first, I felt silly, a doctor moving slowly in a park like a scene from an old Chinese movie. But after a few weeks, I noticed the difference. My body felt more flexible, my sleep deeper, my mind still and quiet. Many of my patients later told me Tai Chi helped them find balance not just in the body but in the soul. And one last gentle technique: the head tilt pump. Sit up straight, relax your shoulders. Gently tilt your head to the right for 2 seconds, then to the left for 2 seconds. Repeat 10 times on each side. It's simple, but it helps awaken the blood vessels that feed your brain, especially the areas that control vital body functions. So let's take this step together, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because your health, your mind, your life, they all begin again with one small movement. Take that step. Breathe, smile, and remember, you're never too old to begin again. This is one of the exercises I often recommend to my patients to do before going to bed or right after waking up. It's not just good for circulation. It also relaxes the neck and shoulders, relieves headaches, and eases fatigue. Now, I know you might be thinking, do these little exercises really make a difference? And I want you to remember this. Every great journey begins with a single small step. Every time you walk, every deep breath you take, every slow, mindful movement, it's your way of telling your body, I'm still taking care of you. And the body, in its own quiet and miraculous way, always responds with strength, flexibility, and a renewed joy for life. We can't stop time, but we can make every passing year worth living. And I truly believe that with these 10 or even 13 simple exercises, you absolutely can. Remember this, you don't grow old because of age. You grow old when you stop moving. After more than 30 years of practice, I've learned that the most important lessons didn't come from textbooks or hospitals. They came from people, from watching how they live, how they struggle, and how they heal. The most precious truth I've discovered is this. We don't live by our hearts, our lungs, or our blood vessels alone. We live by meaning. And that meaning, at 50, 60, or 70, is no longer about chasing careers or proving ourselves to the world. It's about peace. It's about waking up each morning knowing we can still walk, still breathe deeply, still smile. I once asked an 84-year-old gentleman who still walked around the lake every morning, "What keeps you doing this every day for 20 years?" He smiled at me and said, "Because I still want to tie my own shoelaces, without anyone's help." You see, health isn't about living longer. It's about living freer. It's about being able to pour yourself a cup of tea, hug your grandchild, or cook the meal your partner loves. And I want you to understand this. A stroke is not fate. It's the result of a series of habits. And thankfully, habits are something we can change. You don't have to become an athlete. You don't have to push yourself until you're exhausted. All you need is consistency, gentle, loving repetition every day to keep your heart, your legs, and your mind in motion. You can start today, not next Monday, not when you feel ready. Right now, just stand up, take a deep breath, and step outside. Let your body remember what it means to be alive. I know, sometimes we feel like we're too old to start, but believe me, I've seen 70-year-olds healthier than many 40-year-olds because they have something younger people often lack: steadiness. They understand that true health doesn't come from bursts of motivation. It comes from loving consistency day after day. One of my patients, Rose, 68 years old, once had a mild stroke. It took her nearly 3 months to relearn how to hold a spoon, how to take a few steps. Every morning I saw her in the therapy room moving little by little. One day I asked, "Aren't you tired?" She smiled softly and said, "Yes, I'm tired. But it's a happy kind of tired, because I'm finding my way back to myself." That sentence stayed with me because we will all get tired. But there are two kinds of tired. One comes from giving up, the other comes from coming back to life. I hope you choose the second. And if, after watching this video, you only remember one thing, let it be this. Movement is the language of life. Every step, every breath, every gentle motion you make today, it's your body's way of saying, I'm still here. I still want to live. Don't let the fear of aging make you stop. Age is just a number. What truly defines your vitality is your spirit. I've met people in their 30s whose souls were already tired, and I've met people in their 80s whose eyes still shined like the morning sun. Who you become depends on your choice. As long as you keep moving, keep breathing, keep loving yourself, you are already winning against time. So, after this video ends, when you stand up, take a few steps outside. I hope you smile and think to yourself, this is the first step of the healthiest chapter of my life, because I believe, at any age, health is a journey that can always begin again. No one is too old to change, and no one is ever too late to live fully. If you found this video meaningful, share it with someone you love. Who knows? Your small act might help someone prevent a stroke or rediscover faith in their own body. And remember, I'm here every week walking this journey with you. Together, we'll learn how to live slower, healthier, and happier lives. Not just to extend our years, but to make every single day worth living. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourself, and remember, you deserve a healthy body, a calm spirit, and a life full of energy, no matter your age. I'm Dr. David Miller. I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about simple habits to keep your brain young and prevent memory loss after 60. Now, take a deep breath. Feel your heart beating, your feet touching the ground, and whisper softly to yourself, I'm still here, and I'm living well, and I'm